Good morning, students. Today we will start the topic wind. What is wind? Wind is the horizontal movement of air along the Earth's surface is called wind. All winds results from unequal heating of the atmosphere, and they always move horizontally from high pressure area to low pressure areas. Wind speed is generally greater over water than on land and greater in winter than in summer. So this comparison I have given about wind, these are few points to be remembered about wind. It's always move in horizontal direction, and because of unequal heating in the atmosphere, we will see that different types of winds are formed, and they always move horizontally from high pressure area to low pressure areas are created, and low pressure area, and wind speed is greater over water than land and greater in winter than summer. You have to remember these things about wind. Now we will come to types of wind. Okay, there are types of wind, and in this types of wind, you will see that there are four types of basically winds are there. One is planetary wind or permanent wind. Then we have this periodic or secondary winds. Then we have variable winds, and finally local winds. This type of winds are there. So to start with, first topic is planetary wind. The winds blowing in same direction throughout the year. There is no change in the year, known as planetary wind or permanent wind. They are called because they blow almost in all parts of the globe. Planetary winds can be observed in, noticed in all parts of the globe. It is not that this area is special, it is found. So first type of planetary wind is trade winds. Trade winds, these winds blow in area extending in the 30-degree north to 30-degree south. Basically, the tropical zone. And the winds blow from northeast direction in the northern hemisphere. It blows from the northeast direction in the northern hemisphere and southeast direction from the southern hemisphere. All right, this is called trade wind. Then there are westerlies. You might have heard about westerlies. They generally blow from west to east. They are called northwesterlies and south. Whether it is southern hemisphere or northern hemisphere, they blow from west to east. The direction of the winds are west to east, and these westerlies bring rainfall on the western side of the continent, and eastern side of the belt remains comparatively dry than the western part. All right. Then polar winds of permanent winds. These are the three. That polar winds, the third is polar winds, and these cold winds blow from polar high pressure belt to subpolar pressure belts, and the direction of the wind is northeast in the northern hemisphere and southeast in the southern hemisphere. All right, so permanent winds are how many permanent winds? Trade winds, westerlies, and polar winds. You should may have this ideas about that. The second is periodic or secondary winds. They change their direction periodically because changes in temperature during day and night or with seasonal changes are there. So, land and sea breezes. During the day, air is heated over the land, expands and rises. The air expands and rises, and this attracts cooler air from the sea to its place on the land and is known as the sea breeze, which comes, basically you have to understand, which the expands and rises, and this attracts cooler air from the sea. That is why when the cooler air enters from the sea to land, and it is called sea breeze. And just the opposite happens during night. The same process is reversed. Low pressure condition prevails over sea, oceans. So high pressure is developed over the land, and the air starts moving from land to sea. So it is known as land breeze. So basically very much clear to you that from the sea the breeze comes to the land is called sea breeze, and the land from land, when the land breeze goes to sea, it is called land breeze. All right, from the air moves from land to sea, it is called land breeze. Understood? And the second part of this variable winds are monsoon winds. All of you have studied in class 6 about monsoon winds. And these winds are periodic winds typical of the Indian subcontinent during this time because of the Arabian Sea. From there, this winds from the Arabic word mausim. It is from the word mausim, and the winds are periodic winds typical of the Indian subcontinent, and these winds are mainly responsible for precipitation in the Indian subcontinent. It brings after summer, it brings this monsoon period in India. Huge rain in India because of this monsoon winds. Is it clear? Now the next is the variable wind. B is the secondary, and that is secondary or the periodic wind, and this is the C is the variable winds. And variable winds, some winds go on changing their direction and thus are not regular. They are of short durations. Their direction is not constant, are dependent on the movement of pressure systems. And you know that so many cyclones in recent past, and that how a cyclone is a wind system where low pressure center is surrounded by high pressure center. So how the low pressure area is created during cyclone, and that is why the wind blows from high pressure area to low pressure area, and this blow is because of the atmospheric disturbances in the sea and oceans, and there these pressure areas are created, and when it falls on land, when this landfall happens of the cyclone, and it brings about huge devastations and all. In the recent past, Amphan, then many of the recent cyclones we have witnessed in many areas. Whether it is basically most of the disturbances takes place in Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, but in the recent past it happened in the Arabian Sea. Generally in Bay of Bengal, the most cyclonic disturbances happens due to that. We face so many cyclones in India. Okay, then anticyclones. The condition is just the opposite. An anticyclone is a wind system and high pressure area is surrounded by low pressure. And this cause light winds, clear weather, high temperature in summer and cold in winter. because of that in during high pressure, these are the conditions, that light winds, clear weather, sky is very clear, high temperatures are very like in summer temperature rises up, in winter it goes down, it becomes the clear the sky, and there is cold in winter, the weather becomes cold, and these do not cause rain and may last for few weeks and then fade away quietly. These are just the opposite condition, that is anticyclones. And finally, D is the local winds. And local winds, these are certain winds in different parts of the world that blow over small areas for short period. Such winds are called local winds, and these winds during summer we face Lu in India. This is a then Khamsin in Egypt, northwester in New Zealand. All right, such type of local winds are there in different parts of the country. We have different names for them. Like we have some local winds, more local winds like Chinook, Foen, Hermaton, Hermaton, such type of in different regions. There are many such local winds in different countries. So some examples I have given, that Khamsin in Egypt, Lu in India, Northwester in New Zealand. These are local winds, and this remains for very short period. All right, so this is the conditions of winds and variety of winds. What is the types of winds? All right, and then we will next moisture. We will deal with moisture, that is rainfall, and what happens with the moisture in the atmosphere, and precipitation happens, and these things we will do for now on. Children, thank you, learn, read it again and again and try to learn these points. I have given you very precise points which is very easy to learn, and not have not given extra points to you. All right, thank you, children.